activism is not only taking place in our streets, but also on social media, as we know. Hashtags like Black Lives Matter and Not in My Name have been used to highlight violence around the world. But does social media activism actually work? Let's find out now. We'll chat to Lead Strategist at Coalition Digital Communications, Lauren Crooks. Lauren, a very good morning to you. Thanks so much for your time this morning. So let's get to it. We've seen all of the hashtags. We've seen all of the movements. When it comes to the social media platform and getting voices out there and getting support, is it working, or is it just people making a noise, wanting to be seen, wanting to be relevant?
Well, I feel like it absolutely is working. So the power of social media is that it gives a platform to amplify the voices of the marginalized and people who are typically discounted. Historically, the problem with activism has been that either the story is not told at all, or the people who are telling the story are not those affected. So because of the speed of communication and the instantaneous transferring and spreading of messages, it means that movements can be mobilized very quickly. But the key in this is that it is not just having a conversation, it's translating that conversation into action offline.
So that's the other thing, is are we seeing solutions? Are we seeing results from having this social media presence when it comes to these issues? Or is it just a matter of, showing that there is enough anger about it and hoping that somebody out there is going to listen? Have we seen it bear fruit?
So there have been instances, especially lately, like with the Christian Cooper incident, of the racism incident in Central Park. Thereafter, because of the absolute outrage that was spurred online, the city of New York has actually passed a bill that any sort of false reports can actually be deemed as a crime against humanity. So it really is a matter of starting the movement, gaining momentum, and then also making sure that we are engaging with the right community stakeholders, engaging with government, signing petitions, and really lobbying for change.
And, just in terms of what could go wrong when it comes to addressing these issues on social media, and we have talked about this before, especially when we're looking at Black Lives Matter, Not in My Name, there's always a chance that, somebody is going to be accused of something without it's often a case of, guilty before being proven innocent, because once it's out there, even if you haven't done it.
Yeah, there's bound to be with conversations like this. It's extremely sensitive. It's extremely provoking in terms of strong emotion. And we generally do try to look for scapegoats and look for people to own responsibility. But I think in terms of situations like this, the point of these conversations is to create discourse. It is to engage with people who maybe have a predetermined conception of how these issues are and need revision. The point is that it's not a comfortable space to play in. It isn't for the victims, it isn't for people who feel marginalized, nor it is for people who have either not participated in these conversations or have stood by and witnessed things like this without doing anything about it. So while Twitter particularly is big on a call-out culture and it becomes both judge and jury, I think that this is a necessary part of bringing about change, as creating visibility, changing perceptions, and then ultimately mobilizing as many people as possible to actually do something about the critical state of the world.
And I think, Lauren, let's just sum it up in terms of, in a nutshell, what is the power of the hashtag? Then what have we seen the power of the hashtag come to be, especially now?
So what I like to think of a hashtag is, in essence, it's an online paperclip where you have your central narrative, your central point of contention, and then the power of it is the contribution of other stories, the communications of things that have either happened to us in real life, or sharing that conversation to make sure that people can participate in a space that they feel safe and they don't feel alone or isolated. So participating in hashtags and movements like this, I really believe that it is a sort of a point between thought and action. And it's a great way to spread awareness as quickly as possible. Whether or not things actually come of it is all about how people continue to maintain momentum and continue to participate in these conversations.
I think any spark for conversations and causes is a good one at any point. Thanks so much for that, Lauren Crooks there from Coalition Digital Communications. We've been talking about the power of the hashtag.